everyone, Lickety Split here. Today we're working on a kit from Warhammer the Old World for the Empire of Man. This is the Grandmaster of the Knights Panther. Now, as usual, I always paint the rider separate from the mount and the shield separate. I'll be showing you all that during this. I'm going to start out with the mount here. We'll move the Grandmaster aside. And we're going to be painting the horse's skin right now. And we'll be starting out with some Nuln Oil. We just want to spread this all over the figure, including into the hair, well, all over the skin. Avoiding stuff like the strap, etc. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be back. Okay, got a little ahead of myself there. So next step we're going to work on is painting the horse's armor, and for that color we're going to start with Talassar Blue. We'll start at the top of each section with nice easy strokes down. Kind of do it one section at a time. Take your time, don't push too hard on the brush. Nice even pressure, spreads it out so it gets nice and even. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up and be right back. Okay, now that we got all that Talassar Blue applied, we're gonna go to the second step of the armor for the horse, and that second step will be to add some Ultramarines Blue, just to darken everything up. So go ahead and put it on nice and even. There we go. Easy, even strokes. So you get it nice and smooth. Contrast paint comes out a little easier that way. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Hey there, just to have a bit of a top tip here for you about repairing stuff. Like I had the tail come off in this guy, so I'm going to have to pin it, but it's kind of small pin. So what I do is I use a staple. There we go. There we go. I use a staple, just part of it. This is good for this is also good for like banner poles, things like that. Thin things that if you just glue it, they'll keep falling off. It'll help keep it together. Okay, that's it. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, now that that's all done and the tail's all fixed, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next color. Next color is gonna be some Gore-Grunta fur, and we're gonna paint this studded leather that this horse has around its head. Now you may wonder, why did I pick Gore-Grunta fur? Well, it's one of the colors I use for leathers. That's one. And two, it's got a nice red tint to it. So that fits very nicely in with the color scheme, because you'll have some red here, reddish, okay? Then you'll have blue from here, right, from the armor. And then there are other parts of the Knight Panther that are yellow. And that's a nice three colors that really go well together. Okay, I'm gonna finish up the other side and be right back. Okay, now that step's all done. We're gonna move on to our next step. Our next step is gonna be using a glaze to kind of help even out the armor. It's gonna be anywhere from 6 to 8 parts water or Lahmian Medium to Hoeth Blue. And what you do is you get some on your brush, and you make sure there's not a whole lot on there, because glazes go on thin. Like, you're not trying, so you can see on my thumb. It's not going to overwhelm the color. It's basically going to kind of accentuate it or fill it in, maybe. Might be a better phrase. And there's no hard and set fast rule on the glazes. It's just something you're going to have to play around with, and they can be done to taste, right? So if you got a real light glaze and you want more of an effect, then you'll just be putting on more and more layers. If you've got a heavier glaze, then you could probably do fewer layers. But that's going to be up to you and what you decide to do with the effect. For this one, I'm just kind of using it to smooth it out, so I won't be doing, I'll probably do one decent like medium level glaze on it. And that's it, and I'll be right back with the next step. All right, now that's all done. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next color. Next color is gonna be some Cygor Brown, and we're gonna use this on all of the leather, like the saddles, the bridles, any sort of straps, like the ones holding on those little head plate there and there. It looks like I gotta go back there and touch that up and get a color. That's pretty normal, going through there and looking apart going, I thought I did that. And no, Lickety, you didn't. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and be back. Okay, quick note, for the hose, you just go ahead and do it, and then Black Legion. I already went ahead and did it. Forgot to record doing it, but just do some Black Legion, go around, and you'll be good. Okay, on the next color. Next color is going to be some Iron Warriors, and we're going to use this for the bridle, the metals on the bridle, and any other metallic bits that there might be, like buckles. So, since this is studded leather here, we've got them metal studs that we can go ahead and do. And then the bridle, or the bit, go in his mouth. Oops, a little thick. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and be right back. Oh, one thing to mention, the metallic bits that you highlight, there's also these rivets that are on the horse's armor that you can go ahead and do. Up to you though on that one. Okay, on the next detail, we're gonna work on his little feathers on his hat. We're gonna do, looks like there's two, see if you can see it. Okay, well there's two of them here. There's one here and one there next to each other. I'm gonna do this one as the white one, and we're going to start out with some Nuln Oil. Just to shade it. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, now we're going to move on to the next part. We're going to paint the other feather. And this one we're going to start out with some Talassar Blue. So we get a nice white and blue feather. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. Be back. Okay, we're going to move on to the next color. The next color is going to be some Ultramarines Blue, and we're going to go ahead and finish up this side, or we'll do another step on a little much on the blue part of the feather. Make sure you work it into the grooves a little bit. Okay, I'm going to finish up and be back. Okay, I'll move on to our next color. Now our next color, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of highlight to this feather. And we're going to do a very light dry brush just to catch the ridges of some Corax White. Let's see. Just like that. Same thing on the back. I'll finish this up and be back. Okay, now that's done, we're going to move on to the rider. This is the old figure, the Grandmaster of the Knights Panther. And we're going to start with him with some Grey Knight steel. And we're going to go over all of his armor. Take your time, get in there. A little long. Okay, I'm going to finish this guy up. Be right back. Okay, we're going to move on to the next step in the armor. Next step in the armor is going to be a 5-to-1 ratio of Lahmian to Black Templar. Don't want to load it up too much. The brush is mainly looking to get into the crevices and provide some depth. All right, I'll finish this up and be back. Okay, on to our next step with the armor. Next step is going to be a dry brush of some Grey Knight steel, kind of to bring out the flat areas a little bit, and also the details. We don't got to go in too deep, because we don't want to gum up the recesses we just did with the Lahmian Black Templar mixture. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this guy up and be right back. Okay, we'll move on to our next step. Our next step's going to be working on the armor yet again. And we're going to be using some Stormhost Silver. And we're going to be doing a very light dry brush with this one because we're just trying to catch out the edges and the very high parts. Just add a little more, another step of depth. Don't worry about going over a little bit. Usually after this step, like final step on, dry brushing, something like this, that's when I'll go back and do a fair amount of touch up using the base paint, or the same color you primered in this case, some Wraithbone. All right, I'll be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color now. Next color is going to be some Guilliman Flesh, and we're going to be using this on any of the exposed skin, which for this guy is just his face. All right, now that's done. We'll move on to the next step. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color, and the next color is going to be some Talassar Blue. And we're going to be doing this in a couple places. We're doing here on the saddle. And we're also going to be doing it up here in the alternating swatches. Yeah, there we go. Like so. Like so. I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, got a little bit on the other one. That's okay, I'll touch it up. All right, I'll finish it up and be back. Okay, on to the next color. The next color is going to be some Ultramarines Blue, and wherever we put the Talassar Blue. I know when I spoke with you in the last step, I only mentioned a couple spots. But I forgot to mention that we'd also put the Talassar Blue here in this cloth, around his headdress, which also goes back down here. So any place that I put that, there we go, I'm going to go ahead and put the Ultramarines Blue. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on our next color. Next color is going to be some Lead Belcher. And we're going to use this to paint the blade of the Grandmaster's sword. I'm going to finish it up and be back. Okay, on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Imperial Fist. And we're going to use this to start painting in the Panther iconography that's on the Grandmaster, which will be this headdress. Okay, I'm going to go and finish this up, be back. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be a mixture. It's going to be 2-to-1 mixture of Apothecary White and Skeleton Horde. And we're going to use this to paint in, oops, that's a little much, to paint in the pelt of the Panther on the Grandmaster's back. So we're going to go and work it in and get it into the nooks and crannies. And of course, we'll be putting on his face. We'll be coming back and touching stuff up later. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this guy up and be right back. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next step, and we're gonna work on the little horns here. And the color we're gonna be using is some Seraphim Sepia. Let's just spread it on there a little bit. Work on it, and I will be right back once I'm done. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next color. Next color is gonna be some Retributor Armour. And we're gonna use this to paint in some of the gold details. Which on the Grandmaster here is his sword hilt, or his guard, his hilt. It looks like his little belt buckle. Okay, I want to finish him up and be back. Okay, on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Snakebite Leather, and we're going to use this at the base of the horns. I'm going to put some horns, some on there. We're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and then here we go. We're going to blend it in. Okay, we're going to do this side by side, one side at a time. So we're going to go to the other side. We're going to put on some Snakebite Leather. All right. A little more, get a little darker towards the base. I like that darkness at the base. There we go. We're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and then we're going to blend it in here a little bit. I'll do the other horn the same way. I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Reikland Fleshshade. And we're going to do this on wherever the underside of the skin of a panther is exposed. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Casandora Yellow, and we're going to place this all over the yellow we used for Panther, the Imperial Fist from earlier. And that gives it a little bit more an orangey feel to it and gets nicely into the recesses to add some depth. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up and be back. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next color. Next color is gonna be some Guilliman Flesh. And we're gonna use this to shade all of the Retributor Armour that we've done before. Give it some depth and some nice color. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, we put in a fair amount of work into our Grandmaster. And at this point, if all we're looking to do was to put this army on a tabletop, get it quickly, so I can play in a tournament or some sort of gathering like that, I might stay at this point. And at this point, what I like to call this is 3 foot fabulous. From 3 foot away on tabletop, it looks pretty darn good. But I don't intend on stopping here. We're going to take it to the next level, to what I like to call 1 foot fantastic. And the next step we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on the blues. And we're going to be using a mixture of roughly 6 parts Lahmian Medium or water, the Casandora Blue, and we're going to be doing a glaze. So we're going to do that, and we're going to get some of the stuff off of the brush. So there's very little on there. See, like that, very little. And then we're going to go over the brush, go over the blue. This will help smooth it out. And make it even from those 2 different contrast paints we put on it. It'll just help make it nice and smooth. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Flesh Gitz Yellow. And we are going to use this to highlight any of the parts that we painted in Imperial Fist and Casandora Yellow. Which on the Grandmaster is just his headdress. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, we're on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this on the blade for the Grandmaster. Just like that. Okay, and we'll move on to our next color, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be a little bit of a white scar. And we're going to use this to highlight the little white areas that we had. Which for him is mainly, yeah, there we go. You can see it. Here on this headdress. Okay, I'm going to finish them up and be right back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some more Cygor Brown. And we're going to use this to paint some of the leather straps on Grandmaster of the Knight's Panther. Should be these little guys right here. Alright, I'll finish these guys up and I'll be back. Okay, for our next step, we're going to use a little Gorthor Brown. Oops, too much. To highlight. That's a little too much. The Cygor Brown we used earlier. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be right back. We're going to move on to our next color. The next color is going to be some Liberator Gold, and we're going to use this to highlight all of our gold areas. So I don't have much on it, and I tend to do edge highlight where I just try to catch the edges kind of like that. Just to get the highlights. And one of the reasons why I really like this handle is because you can hold it all sorts of different positions just to get at what you're looking for. Okay, I'm going to go and finish up the Grandmaster and be right back. Move on to our next step. Our next step is going to be some Hoeth Blue to highlight all the blue. And just do it nice and light, catch the high areas, just kind of lightly drag it across. And slowly build it up. Make sure there's not a lot on your brush. See, like that. And you can slowly build it up until you're satisfied with how it stands, how it looks. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish them up and be back. Okay, quick thing to point out. I know for this, some of the stuff I'm using this dry brush here, right? But for like these smaller places in here where I need to go into more detail, I'll switch to a finer brush to get them in there. So you don't have to, you don't stick with it. You don't have to stick with the same brush for the entire step. If certain brushes work in one part of the figure better than the other, then you switch in between them. Okay, I'll be back. We're gonna move on to our next color. Our next color is gonna be some Screaming Skull. And we're gonna use this to give our Panther pelt a bit of a highlight. So just go over nice and light, so you're just catching the edges, just catching the ridges. You don't want to go deep. You don't want to lose that dark color in the crevices. It gives you some depth. Okay, I'm going to finish this guy up and be right back. We're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Wildwood. And we're going to be painting the spots on the cloak. So what we're going to be doing is painting basically some small C's. With a little dot in the middle, and we'll be going kind of random directions. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, we're on to our next step. Next step is going to be taking a little bit of Screaming Skull, hit what we just did with the Panther spots with a little bit of highlight to kind of soften them a little bit. Just go over it nice and easy. And I'll finish this up and be back. We're on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Pallid Wych Flesh. And we're going to use this to do a very light dry brush to just catch the highest points of the pelt that we've been working on. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. I forgot to mention, there we go, that I'm going to be doing, of course, the face a little bit too to bring out the ridges of that on that pelt. All right, I'll be back. Okay, on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Black Legion. And we are going to use this on the claws. And we're going to use this. There we go. Of course, his teeth. Inside his mouth. His nose. Not the whole thing, just like a little bit here. And of course, the eyes. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Our next color is going to be some Eshin Grey. And we're going to use this to highlight some of the black that we did before, like his nose. His nose. The eyeball a little bit. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. On to our next color. Next color is going to be some Screaming Skull. And we're going to go ahead and pick out the claws. For a nice little bit of contrast to that. Oh, that's too much. To that Black Legion we put on there. And we'll also do it to the, pick out the fangs. Okay, Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, we're on the next color. Our next color is going to be some Black Legion. And for this, we're going to be painting in the eyeball. Just the eyeball. Like that. Our next color is going to be a little bit of Screaming Skull. And we're going to use this for the eyes. Put a little bit of dot in one corner and the other corner. On to our next step, and our next step is going to be what I like to call the secret sauce, and that's basically Screaming Skull. And we're going to do, you see you got very little on your brush. I had a bit much here. So just go very lightly over everything. There we go. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. On to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Black Legion. And we're going to be, there you go. We're going to be working on the eyes. So we're going to paint in the eyeball. A little bit of Black Legion. Trying just to get the eyeball. Alright, we'll move on to the next step. I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Cygor Brown. And we're going to do the wraps here. The leather on the hand, on the grip of his sword. It's pretty small, not much here. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and be back. We're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Iron Hand Steel, and we're going to use this to paint the flat edge of the Grandmaster sword. So, this is just to make sure the cutting edge of the blade kind of stands out a little more. There's a little bit of separation from the rest of the blade. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Now on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Iron Breaker, and we're going to use this to highlight the edge of the Grandmaster sword. Again, I'm using an edge technique. I'm not trying to point it. I'm taking it flat of the brush. There we go. That's a little better. And just catch the edge. Alright, I'm going to finish them up and be back. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next color. Next color is going to be a 1-1 mixture of Liberator Gold and Rune Fang Steel. And we're going to use this to paint some of the big plates on this guy's shoulder pad. Okay, I'm going to finish this guy up and be right back. Okay, a quick note. I went ahead and used this 1-1 mixture of Rune Fang Steel and Liberator Gold to also highlight some of the gold areas as well. Thought I'd give it just that extra pop. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Pallid Wych Flesh. And we're going to use this to highlight the skin and the fur. Just go over it lightly. No need to rush. Build up the highlights. Don't overdo it right at the beginning. Just slowly work it up. till it gets to the point where you are happy with it. All right, I'm gonna finish this up and move on. Okay, on to our next step. Our next step is gonna be working on the blue armor. And we're gonna be highlighting it using some Hoeth Blue. What I'll be doing is going along and doing some edge highlighting on all the raised ridges. I don't have to spend any time doing it down here because we're going to do something different at the base. So just go and use the edge of the brush and just catch the ridge. Just kind of like that. And you turn the figure to get a better angle. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and be right back. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next color. Our next color is gonna be some lead belcher. And we're gonna be using this to paint the trim on the armor of the horse of the Grandmaster. Just paint a small thin band around there. Of course, we'll be doing this part around the collar, on the neck, like so. And we'll go ahead and paint in this, kind of brighten it up a little bit, along with some of the metal. Looks like I missed some of the metal on the bridle. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up, be back. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next color. Our next color would be gonna be some Skeleton Horde, and we're gonna be using this to paint the parchment area that's on the shield. All right, I'm gonna finish these up and be right back. Okay, now that Skeleton Horde all applied, we're gonna go on to the next color. Next color is gonna be some Imperial Fist. And we're gonna start working on the Panther iconography on these shields. So, just take your time, spread it out, get over there. It's okay if it spills over a bit. Not too much, but because we're gonna be painting the field in the blues, just like we did the armor. And that'll cover any of that up. All right, I'm gonna finish these up and be right back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is gonna be some Retributor Armour. I'm gonna go, there we go. Go ahead and do the little crown that's below the Panther on this particular shield. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to finish this up, be back. Okay, next color we're going to be using is some Casandora Yellow. And we're going to do a little bit more than that. Putting this over any place that we already put the Imperial Fist. Alrighty, whoops, too much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and I will be back. Okay, now we're going to go on to our next color. The next color is going to be some Nuln Oil. And we're going to use this to cover up wherever we put the lead belcher. And I have it overlap, the Nuln Oil will overlap into the blue part of the armor when I do this, because it helps create a nice transition. And also when you go around and do the collar, for lack of a better word, get it a little bit over. Let's see, like so, because then it gives you some depth in that transition area. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on the next color. Next color is going to be a little bit of Reikland Fleshshade, and we're going to do this on the little crown that we painted with the Retributor Armour before. Like so. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Flash Gitz Yellow. We're going to use this to highlight the Panther iconography that we painted in Imperial Fist and some Casandora Yellow. Don't want to go overboard on it. Just hit it kind of lightly so that it catches the edges. Alright, I'm going to finish it up, be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Talassar Blue. And we're going to go ahead and paint the fields of these. Just be careful when you're doing this so you don't go over the stuff you already painted. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some more Iron Breaker. And we'll be going back over the parts that we painted over the Nuln Oil. And we'll be hitting part of it. Not all the way up. So there's a gap, kind of like that. Can you see it? Yeah. Like here. Or like here. Like that. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Ultramarines Blue. And we're going to place it over all the places that we put down the Talassar Blue earlier. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Black Legion. And we're going to use this to paint on some of the spots. For the Panthers. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on the next color. Our next color is going to be some Black Legion. And we're going to use this just to paint the backs of the shields. Because really you're not going to see much of them. So, you just... A lot of times I just paint it black, or Wildwood's another good color. Just go with it from there. Okay, I'm going to finish these up and be back. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe as it really helps the channel out. I try to focus on techniques to give you the most bang for your buck. It may not win you a golden demon, but it'll get you on tabletop looking good. A lickety split. Thanks again. See you in the next one.